Good morning and welcome to Shamanic Sundays. Hi, Dad. Good to see you.
Good to see you as always. Good morning to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here with us today, wherever you're joining us from in the world. We appreciate you being here in the spirit of sacred reciprocity. One of the key principles that I learned from you and from the elders that you worked with and that I was blessed to know is sacred reciprocity, the balance of giving and taking. And so before we ask a bigger question, I'm going to ask you to start us off with a prayer of gratitude.
Con mucho gusto, my pleasure. Thank you, Great Spirit, Creator, wisdom, power of the universe, who gives us this breath of life, who gives us this day, gives us this opportunity to reflect on our intentions, what qualities of consciousness and being we'd like to have grow stronger and blossom in the garden of our life experience today. Thank you for our ancestors who help us, always sending us support in the spirit world, and gratitude for the ancestor spirits in the land we are living in. Thank you for our families, our communities, our teachers, our healers, and thank you for the challenges of our lives that help us wake up, wise up, and live love now when we work them skillfully for the healing of the sacred who. May it be so. Oh,
thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So I understand that we got a question this week that you would like to address directly. So I'm going to pass the baton over to you.
Here's the baton.
Okay, you've already got it.
Yeah. So last Sunday I spoke about my experience with the sacred mountain, Mount Shasta, Akuyet. One of the tribes people call it there, in terms of not going to the summit, that it wasn't respectful to go to the very summit of the mountain. So one of our listeners emailed me and asked me to explain what that's about, what that's all about. And she was assuming that was a statement in relationship to not going to the summit of any mountain. And really what I was talking about was one mountain in particular that I learned respect for right relationship was not going to the summit, because the summit was just for the medicine people when they were called up there by some need in the tribe, and it was only for the medicine people to go up to the summit. Now that was after a number of years when I was in mountaineering and rock climbing, and I didn't know that. And so the goal was always to get to the summit. And there was this story that I'm sharing now is a good comparison between Western egocentric consciousness and indigenous consciousness. Western egocentric consciousness, it's all about me. It's all about what I can accomplish. It's more about what I can do. Aren't I great? Look at me. Aren't I just fantastic? It's just all about that focus on the individual. And so in a macho culture that Eurocentric is repressing the feminine, it's a macho culture that you persevere and you're tough and you're strong and you overcome all obstacles and you just keep going until you reach your goal, until you make that summit. And then when you make the summit, you've conquered the mountain. Woo!
Right.
You've
reached the pinnacle of success.
Yes, exactly. And aren't I great that I accomplished this? And glory, glory, glory to me. And so in the first few years when I was doing the pilgrimage to Mount Shasta, I was definitely, as a mountaineer and a product of this macho culture, was conquering the mountain to get to the summit and achieve the victory. And over a couple of years, after a couple of years of that, I did make connection. I always try to be open to and make connections with Native people, indigenous people where I'm working, living, doing something. And I did meet, I was fortunate to meet an elder, a Shasta elder, who's now in the spirit world. And he explained to me about Mount Shasta is a sacred holy place that has a spirit that lives within it, Misa, and works to keep the earth in balance with the universe, through singing. That's her work. And when people come to her in a respectful way and listen to her singing and support her in the work she's doing, that's making good medicine. So you can go up on the mountain as high as you want, although it takes mountaineering skill because you have to have an ice axe and crampons and know what you're doing because people do die on that mountain. But she said, you don't go to the summit. That's disrespectful. You don't go to the summit. Only the medicine people, when they're called, go to the summit. So I had, when I heard that, that conflicted with my ambition, my motivation to, whenever I'm on the mountain, try to get to the summit. And so it was like a little bit of an inner conflict. Am I going to be, what am I going to put my energy into? Feeding my ego, basically, because I'm attached to, whatever that comes from reaching the summit, feeling accomplishment, which is good, but not if it's being disrespectful to the caretakers of the land where you are, who've been there for tens of thousands of years and know from experience by paying attention to what's respectful relationship to the powers and spirits of the land where you live, especially the places of power. So am I going to let go of and tell all the future people coming on these pilgrimages with me to Mount Shasta that we're no longer going to strive for the summit, we're no longer going to work to get to the summit, but instead with this new understanding, we're going to respect the indigenous people of this land where we live, who know about, and as elders of the land, wisdom elders pass on the ways of right relationship, or we're going to trample over them and just get our nut off the way the whole culture's been doing for 500 years at the expense of the native people. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I need to be, for me not to be a hypocrite and be in my integrity, I have to let go of that previous drive and goal and ambition and accept with gratitude, with understanding that I'm being in respectful relationship with the indigenous people and the spirits of the mountain. So that's why I stopped going to the summit of Akuyet, of Mount Shasta. But then I was also reflecting last night about my relationship with Lanny Pinola, who's an old friend of mine, Pomo Miwok, medicine man, who's in the spirit world.
Miss him. He was such a good man and good friend.
Was and still is.
Yeah.
And we were sitting by Tatawati Grandfather Fire once, and he was talking to me about the sacred mountain in Marin, Mount Tamalpais.
Yep.
And he said the same thing. He said, go to the summit. It's disrespectful to go to the summit. It's only for the medicine people when they're called by a need of the tribe or someone in the tribe. Then they go to the summit. And I'd been with you and other people, kids growing up and taking people rock climbing on the summit and enjoying it and having a good time. And then, oops, right relationship, respectful, humble, right relationship, let go of ego, past behaviors, that new information comes into your mind that if you want to be respectful to, then you don't go to the summit of Mount Tamalpais either anymore. So how that applies to other mountains around the world, our listener who asked this question asked me to reflect on this, had been Patagonia and hiking with friends and climbing mountains, and wasn't able to get to the top of the mountain the way some of her other friends did. And so she was asking me about that, and so I don't know about other mountains. I mean, other mountains, just like people, everybody's a little bit different. So respectful interaction is not just starting with your ego desires in relationship to what you want with and from or through that mountain or place of power that you go to, but try to learn from the indigenous people there what's the right relationship to that particular place and that particular spirit. And it may be that it's okay to go to the top of the mountain, but then you need to bring certain kind of gifts of gratitude for the spirits there and prayers for your people and for the mountain. And for people in our case, this time in history, waking up, wising up to be respectful about the powers and the traditions of right relationship, respect for the energy spirits of different places. So I think applying shamanic principle of respect and humbleness is to recognize and honor the truth by your actions that every mountain you go to, just think about it, you know, the amount of power it took to raise that mountain up. And Mount Shasta is over 14,000 feet. The power it took from inside of Mother Earth to raise that mountain up toward the sky. It took a lot of power to do that. So there's a lot of power in the mountains, a spirit power. And if you can tune yourself and connect with that power in a sacred way, in a respectful way, then you can use it to help you do what you need to do, face the challenges of your life in a good way. But if you go there in a disrespectful way, ego, I'm going to conquer the mountain, aren't I great? And what a hero I am, and brave conqueror, and look what I accomplished, and accolades and glory and honor to me, and hoop-de-doo, let's do a parade. That's just feeding ego, and it's not going to feed your soul. It's going to get you into more trouble. So respect the truth that that mountain is a powerful spirit, and it's been around for a long time, being around for a long time after you and I are gone. And it's the vibrations of the mountain contain information, and the native people have been listening to that information and acting on it for a long time. So that's why you want to learn from them. And then your own attunement to the spirit of the mountain, and then don't just take from it. Don't just take from it, but give back, respect, appreciation, and prayers for the spirit there, and the people and the animals and whatever, the life that lives on the mountain. Prayers for all their families, and gratitude for the opportunity to be there and access its power and its wisdom in a respectful way, and that will enrich your life. So that's what comes to me in terms of right relationship with your question, and thank you for sending it in.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really good question. It makes me think of how much, well, so many things it makes me think of, but I believe there's estimated to be on top of Mount Everest between 30, not on literally the summit, but you know, as you're heading up between base camp and getting to the top, which of course has become quite a lucrative business and very rewarding ego thing for many tourists nowadays, not just the mountaineers who I think used to go up with a little more respect maybe than some folks now. They're leaving, there's between like 30 and 50 tons of waste on Mount Everest right now. It just breaks my heart. And I think what if this conversation was had that like, even if you just stopped a foot below the top of a mountain, that how that would shift awareness of relationship, you know, like in essence, you got to the top. But that little teeny shift, and then bringing it back home for us here that aren't climbing literal mountains. What mountains are we thinking that we need to summit right now that we maybe don't have to aim for the very top, you know, like toward what you were talking about, the sort of Eurocentric ego mindset, as opposed to the interconnected one that we know is how we are as part of nature. But what if we could shift our mindset around some things that we feel like we have to like conquer right now, or that we have to get to the very top of, be the very best at? What if just aiming for good, or just a little bit below the top, like what ripple could that have?
Yeah, instead of how can I be in relationship to whatever in a way that gratifies me and serves my ego and my sense of self. In other words, what can I get from this, right?
Right. Instead of how can I be in right relationship with whatever mountain I'm trying to climb, in a good way or a bad way, because I mean, climbing can be a wonderful thing, of course. So on many levels. So could you guide us in a visualization about just this concept of maybe not aiming quite so high, or feeling like you have to get to the very top of something to have succeeded? I don't want to say not aim high, because I think we should all believe in the impossible and aim high in whatever ways that means and works for us and our relations, but the concept of maybe just not needing to aim for the very top from an ego perspective.
Yeah, well, aiming high, aiming high. So let us bring our awareness
I
inside.
want to, like, before you jump in, sorry, I want to say it because even for like athletics, right? Or like of course you want to be like the champion at the end of the season, right? But even that's not about like you, it's not me, even a solo, like a tennis player or something. There's a whole team of people, from, you know, the kid bringing the water to the trainers, the coaches, the people helping run the stadiums, the courts that you're playing on. Like everything anyone accomplishes is because of a team, right? And so that seems like an important, like, it's not saying we don't want people to win, because winning can be a great thing, but how can we just shift the consciousness of what that means a little bit to remember? Yeah.
Shifting consciousness. So let us shift consciousness by bringing awareness inside, closing our eyelids, shutting off the external stimuli. Of course, helps us to bring our awareness inside, and initially just noticing our rhythm and pattern of being breathed by the universe. Always a good place to start because it's grounding, being present, mindful in the moment. I'm being breathed, bringing awareness into alignment with what's true. The truth is, I'm alive. It's not by my doing, it's by the creative power of the universe. There's life force that I didn't create flowing into me with each breath. I'm being breathed. A wave of new life force flows into me, activates, the breath leaving takes away, energy no longer needed. We can work with that releasing process by letting our awareness notice places in our body, physical body, energy body, heart, belly, throat, chest, where there's any tightness or stuck energy or pipes are clogged. We can just let that flow. Clean, pure, healing light, love, creative wisdom, power of the universe flowing in with the breath. Just flow to where it needs to go and untie those knots of tension and tightness and constriction, loosen them up. And the energy that had been bound up in them freed up to be carried away by the breath, leaving the body downstream and away. Gratitude for the wisdom inside of our bodies through evolution, the wisdom of evolution, carrying away energy that's no longer needed. And with each breath out, opening a little more room and receptivity for the next wave of energy flowing in to us that asks us the question, do you want to feed your ego with this breath of life that I'm giving you? You want to not be present when it comes in and allow the energy to go to unconsciously conditioned brainwave patterning from your culture that's Eurocentric, predicated on the belief of separation, which right away sets you against the universe because there's no such thing as separation. And think about the term winning and getting high, getting going as high as we can go with our goals. And the interesting words, going high. Going high. Well, let's go as high as we can. Let's go as high as we can, which means going above ego identity and ego drives and ego attachments. Go high enough to open awareness, the bands of awareness. Go deep enough, go wide enough, go high enough to connect with the wisdom flow of the universe, the Tao wisdom flow of the universe, the great spirit, the great mystery that is in us and that we're in. And open to, with gratitude for the gift of life that it gives us and the angels of protection who protect us and grow stronger as we give thanks to them. And ask humbly, what is it you would like to do through me, great spirit, great mystery? How might you want to use me that serves your will, that serves higher will instead of ego will. That's the going higher. So to set the goal as high as you want, but do it above ego gratification, and do it to serve that higher will instead of me, me, me. And go for it. Go for what calls you to go for it with full energy, with full passion, with full empowerment that can come through conscious attunement and connection with the Great Spirit, with the creative wisdom power of the universe, to help you go through the fears and the challenges and the negative thought forms that can stop you from going for what your heart and your soul feel that they're calling you to. That's what's going to bring you fulfillment in life, not ego satisfaction, but listening to your heart and your soul and trying to follow the guidance, the directions of how Spirit wants to use you. How Spirit wants to use the gift, wants you to use the gift of creativity it gives you to co-create with it, something that truly serves the healing of the sacred hoop. Asking from that higher perspective than ego, what can I do, or how can I go forward with full passion to try to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish, knowing with humility that strength is coming from you ultimately. And if I'm able to succeed at winning whatever the race or whatever it is, to recognize that the honor doesn't go to me, my ego, but like you said, Kimberly, it goes back to the source from which all the gifts come from. Whatever the situation is, like you said, it's basically teamwork, interwoven, interconnected teamwork I may or may not be conscious of, but nothing stands alone. So whatever I've accomplished, it's a gratitude to the Creator that gives me the ability to do what I did and succeed at it. It's not feeding me, but it's gratitude to the source. So go for what calls you. Listen to your heart. Listen to the wisdom of your heart. Listen to the deep power of your soul and its guidance, and deepen and expand. Do the practices, the mindfulness, spiritual practices, the shamanic practices that help you deepen, open your mind and deepen and expand and raise the higher levels, the bandwidths of your awareness, so you can see and understand and live from the sacred unity, the Allah, with aloha, cosmic love, and with alegria, with joy, to live, love now. Remembering, this is the in the moment empowerment for mindfulness in this instant of being alive, which is all we ever have. But whatever you're doing, remembering, this could be the last act that I do. This could be my last dance. So let me be fully present in it, in my body, in my heart, my mind, my spirit, with whomever, whatever I'm with, and open my heart and remember this is the opportunity in being alive in this moment to wake up, remember who I am, more than my body, my ego, identity, its stories, its wounds. I'm more than that. Wise up, connect and attune with the infinite light and love that I am, and be a channel for it. Live love now. May it be so. We use all of our challenges and whatever the mountains are to ask, how can I be in relationship with you, interaction with you, that opens the doorway to bring through fullest blossoming, greatest good for the healing of the sacred hoop, and helping us to create a peaceful and just and beautifully diverse, healthy and happy win-win world for all. May it be so.
May it be so. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you again for sharing, for the work that you've done and the work you do. I know you're going into ceremony tonight, so we'll be sending prayers to you and the fellow journeyers.
Thank you.
And I also want to remind folks that you have authored many books, and you can find them on your website if you go to drtompinkson.com/books. and you can order them on Amazon or directly. And also, you have another one coming out in 2025, so we'll keep folks posted about that. But we look forward to reading that book.
All right, thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for you, Krishna Das. We usually don't know Kimberly's middle name is Krishna, and I call her Krishy a lot. And Krishna Das, thank you for you and bringing this through for all of us and to all of you listening. Remember, you're a sacred, worthy, luminous being. You are love, and your love is forgiving, and it's needed in the world.
Oh, amen. Spread the word. Follow, subscribe, share Shamanic Sundays, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, bye, con Dio.
Okay, bye everyone.